Good morning everyone and welcome to the United Stand. This is your Manchester United versus Southampton preview and latest Manchester United news in what? Look, I'm in a good mood this morning. I'm in a fantastic mood because Manchester United are playing tonight and that transfer window, as disappointing as it was, as expected as it was, at least it's over. At least we go with what we've got now. And whether we want players to get promoted from the youth, whether we want different players to play, there is no, it's sad in a way, but there is no opportunity to bring players in. We go with what we got. There are matches basically till the end of May. It is intense. We're going to be playing 3 games a week. There is one more international break, but it's going to be intense. It's going to be relentless. But we go with what we've got. We know now what Solskjaer knows. He's got to do it with what he's got. He's got to find a way to do it with this team. We're in a little bit of a blip at the moment. We've only won 2 of our last 5 games. Of more interest to me, we've scored 1 goal in our last 3 games, I think. No, that's not right. That's not right. Start off well. We scored 2 out of our last 5 games because we had a clean. We didn't score against. No, we did. No, we scored 3 out of our last 5 games. Scored against Sheffield United. Do your fucking research, Goldbridge. But we're not scoring enough goals. And tonight, Southampton aren't scoring many goals as well. They've not scored many goals in their last few games. So I don't think it's going to be a very high scoring game. But it is a game that we've got to win. We've got to bounce back. I wake up this morning and, the transfer crap is all over and that's a good thing, I think. But there's an optimism around a game of football tonight. But of course, that can change very, very quickly. And I'm not underestimating what Southampton are. They're a well-coached side and they can cause us problems. And to be honest with you, their last 2 or 3 games at Old Trafford have been decent. I think they drew with us at the end of last season when we got 3rd place. The season before that, I was at that game. Ward-Prowse scored a goal, a great free kick at 3-2. I think Valerie scored a good goal as well, didn't she? And Lukaku got a brace and Pereira won it for us. And so Southampton always give United and 3-2 just before Christmas as well. So it tends to be quite a tough game against Southampton, and I don't expect anything different from them. They've lost their last 3 Premier League games in a row, which some people would say, well, that's a good thing. I don't think it is, because Southampton haven't been that team. So basically, since Southampton got beat by Leicester 9-0 about 18 months ago, they've been on a fantastic run. This is their worst run in a long time. 3 Premier League games in a row they've lost. Is it going to be 4? And that's what worries me. That run has got to stop. Southampton are not the sort of team that loses 4 or 5 Premier League games in a row, but they're going to have to lose 4 in a row because we're going to have to win tonight. So a lot of people would say, well, tonight's not going to be a high-scoring game and it's got a draw written all over it, 0-0. I think much of it depends how Manchester United are going to approach this game. And one thing I'd missed yesterday, amongst all the talk about what was going on and Ollie's press conferences, he did give an update on Diallo. It's unlikely Diallo's going to be involved tonight. He is back training with the first team, and that was seen yesterday. But there was a quote, and I read it in the Manchester Evening News. I say a quote, something along the lines of, we'll see how he gets on this week. On Thursday, we'll make a decision about the weekend, whether he'll be involved against Everton or he could play on Friday, which I think is the under-23s. So highly unlikely that Diallo's going to be involved tonight. There is talk of maybe Everton at the weekend. And Ollie mentioned we'll have to see how we're doing for COVID and injuries. So it feels like what I said and what some of you said is true when it comes to Diallo, is that he's not somebody that he's banging on the door, but he's not knocking anybody out the way. It's like if we get an injury or somebody goes down with COVID, then Diallo comes into the squad, but he's not forcing his way into the squad and taking a Mata or a Dan James out, which some would say is disappointing. We don't know the full content of what's going on, but what we do know is that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has favourites and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is loyal to those people. And obviously Diallo isn't tearing trees up enough in Ollie's mind that he wants to, move somebody out who's been with him for most of the season. And Ollie's a loyal manager, and look, people might not like that, but he might be along the lines of, I'm not going to take Dan James off the bench when he's been on the bench for most of the season, and I don't want to disrespect or upset Dan James. Some would say that's not ruthless enough, but we aren't scoring goals. Diallo's a player that's come off the bench for Atalanta in the Champions League and then Serie A. We're not scoring goals. And as I said last night on the Transfer Deadline Day show, I do feel that this team needs a spark. It needs something new. Well, it's not going to be a new signing, is it? So Diallo could be that. And I would like to see him on the bench ASAP, but it's very unlikely to happen tonight. And it might not happen against Everton because he may be playing for the under-23s again. But he is back training with the first team, so there's always that opportunity. Alan says, I love you. I truly do. You fill the void in my heart and stop the pain. You complete me. I would do everything for you. Score prediction. My score prediction, I'll get into that early, Alan, just because you've given us a lovely message on a Tuesday morning. My score prediction is 2-0 to Manchester United on this one. The only time Van der Beek gets picked is on Goldbridge Show. On a serious note, though, don't you think Diamond would be way to play? Bruno, Pogba, Van der Beek, says Karan. And perfect lineup, but we all know Ollie won't do it when we need Bay and Van der Beek to give us this team the jump in morale it needs, says Gabriel Noel. Well, thanks for the super chat. You can do that through the dollar sign if you so wish. Also, just a reminder, United Stand Picks, links in the video description, free to enter. You've got to be over 18, and you've got to be over 18 because cash prizes are given away. £1,000 cash prize pot again for the Southampton game. Questions such as there's 12 questions. Will United score in the first half? Will they score in the second half? Will Cavani score a goal? Questions like that. 12 of them. You score points for everyone you get right. There's a live leaderboard whilst the match is on. You've got until 5 minutes before kickoff to enter. You must be over 18. Free to enter. Terms and conditions in the video description. If you've already downloaded United Stand Picks, which the link is in the video description, you can just keep playing every time. All you've got to do is just go into the app and play it. But if you are new, download it. Free to enter. You've got to be over 18. £1,000 cash prize pot will be won tonight on the show. Answer the questions, enter yourself in, and see if you could be one of the winners, which would be fantastic for you. Hope you're well, Mark. Cold and snowing where I'm going for a 2-1 win tonight, says Callan Armstrong. So, look, that's the team I've gone with for tonight's game. I think Bailly will play because Lindelof hasn't got the capability of playing 3 games a week, and obviously we've got Everton on Saturday, and it would be 3 games in a week if he played Everton and Southampton. So I expect Bailly to play tonight. Southampton are weakened themselves by injury. No Vestergaard, no Walker-Peters, so that's 2 of their back 4 not playing. Diallo's injured. I've been very impressed with Diallo, Southampton player in their midfield. He's injured. Walcott's injured, which actually I think is a good thing for Southampton because the last few times I've seen him, he's been atrocious. So they've got a few injuries as well as being on a bad run themselves. And, Ollie spoke about this in the press conference, didn't he? About, look, we don't have injuries as an excuse. Southampton are on a bad run and they don't have the squad that we've got, and they've got some key players out. Romu's out as well, so we won't get any nasty red cards where he gets away with it. So they've got a lot of players out for this game. Just a good point here from, who was it who said it? Bill says, we've got to rest Cavani and Fernandes. We've got to win, Bill. We've got to win, Bill. We can't rest Fernandes and Cavani. We've got to win. By resting Cavani and Fernandes, you're basically sending out Rashford or Martial or Greenwood to score you the goals. And what if they have a bad game again? We've got to go with the form players. We've got to win. I reckon United could win their next 4 games. Southampton, Everton, West Brom, Newcastle, 3 of them at home, but we need to win the next 4 games. Whether that puts us into a title race again or not, I don't care. Well, I do. I want to be in it, but I don't care. I just think we've got to solidify second place. And by solidifying second place, we might get back into a title race. But if we start dropping points on the regular, then we're going to drop down into a race for top 4, which we're not in at the moment. We are comfortably in the top 4. We need to hold on to that. We must win tonight. So resting Bruno... look, we're playing on a Tuesday night. Why rest Bruno and Cavani? It's 5 days until... It's Saturday night when we play again. They've got quite a big rest before that. And then we've got West Ham in the FA Cup, where I don't think he'll go with a totally strong team again, but you never know with Ollie. But Ollie, you're right. Bill's right. We are going to have to start rotating soon because Real Sociedad is on the horizon when you're going to be playing Thursday, Sunday. So we do need to utilise the squad. And that is why I've put Van der Beek in the team today. I'm absolutely convinced that Van der Beek can play to the right side of our midfield. And my evidence behind this is Mata. Ollie has played Mata as a right-sided player, as a right winger, whatever you want to call it. Mata's never been a winger. He's not a winger. He's not quick enough. He's not skillful enough. He's not a winger. Van der Beek is better than Mata, basically because Mata's declined. But Van der Beek is better than Mata. He's more mobile than Mata. I think Van der Beek from that right-hand side would give us some creativity and thrust that we don't have. We're crying out for creativity from the wing. So why not put Van der Beek out there who can tuck in, swap with Bruno, they can interchange, but they've both got the ability of whipping a cross into Cavani. Bruno's got a delightful cross on him. If him and Van der Beek interchange, like we've seen Pogba and Van der Beek interchange, we could get something really good going there. Now, look, will this happen? I doubt it. I think he'll probably play a Greenwood, or maybe he'll put Rashford on the right and put Martial in. But I just think Van der Beek off the right-hand side, I know it's a bit of a fan theory, but I really think it would work. Most of his time at Ajax was played as either a number 10 or as a right-sided attacking midfielder or a box-to-box player from the right-hand side. If you can move Mata there, and we've played Mata there loads of times, you can definitely play Van der Beek there. And I think that what we're doing at the moment is we're just rotating Martial, Rashford, Greenwood. Martial on the left, Rashford on the right, Rashford on the left, Greenwood on the right. And it's not really working in relation to the main man, which is the number 9 Cavani. So I would try Van der Beek there. I think that it's something a little bit different, but it's not something very, very different, because ultimately we have tried Mata there under this manager. So I would love to. Look, I don't know that it'll happen, but that's the team I think we should pick tonight. Of course, I do think he could play McTominay and Fred in midfield, but we're playing Southampton. They've got injuries. Their confidence is low. We've got to go on the front foot. And if Bay's playing at the back, we're going to play a higher line anyway. So there's no point in playing McTominay and Fred to protect a high line defence. We've got to get Pogba central. We've got to get Pogba forward. And the players tonight that I would definitely put my hat on and say, I've got to have a good game if we're going to win, are Bruno and Pogba. If those two have a good game, we'll win this game. Help Detective Bridge. A guy tried to kidnap me last night. The police couldn't do anything, but now I've got the full plate. Should I go back to them, says Lalana's in pyjamas. Yeah, definitely, if that is true. Thanks for the super chat. We need to dominate their midfield, says Mohammed. Well, yeah, they've got no Diallo. They've got no Ramal. They've got, obviously, going to have Ward-Prowse. Southampton's threat will be set pieces. We saw this again. Well, I mean, look, just before Christmas, 3-2. Ward-Prowse free kick and a corner. We've got to defend well from set pieces. I think we defend better from set pieces with Bailly and Maguire anyway, which is another reason to play Bailly. Bailly is massively underrated for his aerial ability. I'll guarantee you, if Bailly plays tonight, he will win a lot of aerial duels. So we need to nullify Southampton. They're a good side, but I think we can deal with them, and I think we can win this game 2-0. I'm not expecting it to be pretty. If it's pretty, yabba dabba do. But I expect us to be efficient. I expect us to take our chances. And look, I don't care how well we play tonight. It's a bonus if we play well. But what we must do is we must win this game. Southampton are on a bad run, like I say, 3 losses in a row. They're struggling to score goals. They're missing a lot of their best players. And we aren't. What we're struggling with at the moment is momentum and confidence in front of goal. And we must get that back. And I think by doing that, we will build that confidence ahead. And look, I think Everton is going to be a tougher game than Southampton because they've got better players and they haven't got as big an injury crisis. So Southampton tonight, get the 3 points going to the Everton game. But we must focus on tonight. You know, I think the great thing about winning tonight is that Man City play tomorrow, but even if we win and we go level points with Man City, which we do, we don't go top because their goal difference is better. I don't want any of this top of the league shit anymore. If we get it back outright, fantastic, but we mustn't start thinking about title races. We must get back into the groove of the momentum and taking every game at a time, like Ollie's been saying. I'm still curious about your nose hair. How much, says Denari? Look, if you want to go on eBay for that sort of thing, that's fine, but I'm not selling my nasal hair, so forget about it. Vestergaard, we've spoken about 2 out of 5, 2 in 4. Do you think they will start Minamino today, says Ashish? Good point. Minamino has joined Southampton on loan, but it isn't thought that he was registered in time for the game tonight. They have got injury problems, so if Minamino was fit, it would just be bloody typical, wouldn't it? But I don't think he can play. I don't think he can play tonight. And to be honest with you, I've not been massively impressed with Minamino anyway. So no, I don't think that will happen. Where's Martial, says Harry Collier? Well, he'd be on the bench. Obviously that's not the league team. That would be ridiculously early. This is the team I think he should be picking tonight. And I think I've probably got 10 of those players right. I think the one I haven't got right is Van der Beek. But what I would say about Van der Beek is we've lost to Sheffield United. We've drawn against Arsenal. We've not scored in either game. He's a £35 million marquee signing of last summer. Would this not be the game to introduce Van der Beek into the team? Well, you're not going to introduce him. We need a clean sheet, says Rajat. We do. We're not going to introduce him in the place of Bruno because Bruno's pivotal to the team. We're not going to introduce him in replacement to Fred or Pogba because they're pivotal to the team. You know, he's got to play in either the right side midfield position or the left side midfield position. But Ollie needs creativity. And look, I think Van der Beek should be starting this game because we should be giving him a chance after the last 2 games anyway. But in more in his favour is that we desperately need to create more chances from out wide. So if you've played Juan Mata on the wide before, why would you not put Van der Beek on the wide before anymore? The interesting thing, when he has played Van der Beek, he's played him off the left. And when he played Mata, he played him off the right. So there is a big hint there that Ollie likes inverted wingers, like a lot of people do. But I think if you want to get crosses in the box, you don't use an inverted winger. Donny van de Beek would be served better off the right. When Bruno wanders to the right, he puts in delightful crosses because it's a natural thing to do. When you cross from the left on a right foot, you're curling it towards the keeper. So I would like to see Van de Beek used from the right, but we have seen him used from the left. I think he would be better from the right because I think we need to get more crosses in naturally from that side. Look, whether he's going to do it or not, I think it's debatable. I think Van de Beek will do well to get even a minute again tonight, and I'll stand by what I said about Van de Beek last night. And if anybody didn't hear what I said, I'll just summarise it because it was quite deep into the show. I don't think Solskjaer, in my opinion, wanted Van de Beek because, and I use the analogy again, if you wanted a PS5 for Christmas and then you get it and you put it in your cupboard and say I'll use that later, you never really wanted a PS5, did you? So how can our marquee signing be Solskjaer's player that he wants when he's put him in the cupboard and doesn't use him and keeps saying, oh, he'll be all right, I might use him in the future, And then you get people saying, well, it takes time to adjust. Look at Fred, look at Fabinho at Liverpool, it takes time to adjust. But the reality is, if you open your eyes, every time Van de Beek's been used, he's played really, really well. So he doesn't need time to adjust. And he's a Champions League semi-finalist. He's a Dutch international. He's won titles with Ajax. He doesn't need time to adjust. I can see that. You can see that. He's just not highly rated by Solskjaer in relation to McTominay, Fred, Pogba, Bruno, and maybe even Matic are ahead of him in that team. So how can he be Solskjaer's signing when, he's basically a PS5 that he's put under his bed and doesn't want to use? If he was your marquee signing of the summer, he's your signing. You want to go, look, this is one of mine, and you get him involved, don't you? I mean, look what he did with Bruno. Gets him involved straight away. Did he need time to adjust? No, he didn't. So I think with Van de Beek, there's something just not right. And I just think that Solskjaer was given a player that ultimately he wasn't really wanting. But I might be wrong on that. Score prediction, 2-0 United for me, says Connor. Yeah, I'll agree with you on that one. Mark, how do you feel about a Matic and Pogba midfield tonight? Do you think Van de Beek could play in centre mid with Pogba, says Josh? I don't think that Pogba and Van de Beek can play together in the midfield, to be honest with you, because I think you've got to have defensive protection, and neither of them are defensive minded, so I wouldn't like them in the pivot. No. Saw Avron Grazer on the street and threw my shoe at him. Are you proud of me, son William Hurst? No, William, go and pick your shoe up and say sorry. We don't want violence. It's not acceptable. Didn't have much choice with Bruno, says Amit Singh. Why not start Tellez over Shaw today, says Mighty Michael. Ed must wonder why Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doesn't use his PS5, says Bjorn Tora. I'd love to know what the truth is behind Van de Beek, because there's definitely a story there, and I can totally understand why it won't come out, because that's how it should be, but there is a story there. As for playing Tellez instead of Luke Shaw, I think we learned last week against Sheffield United that we probably shouldn't be making too many changes in a game that we need to win. We made that exact mistake last week. Bottom of the league, let's make a few changes. And I think it was right. I think we need to rotate, and there's nothing more I would like to do than rest Cavani and Luke Shaw again, and maybe, rest Fred for Matic. But can you trust Matic? Can you trust Tellez? And can you trust Martial up front at the moment? And the answer is no. And if we drop points again today, we've basically screwed up our season, haven't we, in relation to what we really want to achieve. Let's be honest, deep down we can bury it. We want to get in a title race. We probably don't believe we can win a title, but we still bloody want to be in one, and the opportunity is still there at this moment in time. We can all say, we got no chance of winning the title, absolutely no chance. But the reality is, that's not strictly true. We might not think we can win the title, but the next 4 games are winnable if we find momentum. And if we take 12 points from the next 12 points, we will be in a title race. Because, look, even if Man City win all their games, we're still going to be only 3 points off in their game in hand. And we've got to play them at the start of March. So, we can't give up on that dream, even if it is a dream. And therefore, we can't bring Tellez in for Luke Shaw when Luke Shaw's been our best player. We can't bring Martial in for Cavani when Martial can't really be trusted at the moment. And we can't bring Matic in for Fred when Matic was shite last week. So it would be nice to rotate players, but I don't think we have that luxury at the moment. And let's not forget, what Ollie said yesterday is true. We're lucky. Rotation's nice, and you do need to do it, but look at teams like Southampton and Liverpool and Arsenal. We've played them in the last 4 games, haven't we? And the injury crisis they've got compared to us, we have got good backups if we need to. And I think at the moment, you've just got to get your best team out. The most important thing at the moment is winning games. If we pick up an injury, we pick up an injury. But we need to win. And I won't criticise Ollie if he picks Shaw and Cavani and Fred today. And if they get injured, well, I still won't criticise him. I think we've got to try and win the game. I think people are underestimating. What we can't do is underestimate teams anymore. If you underestimate Sheffield United, who have got 5 points, and you lose, you can't underestimate Southampton or anyone else. So all this squad rotation, not for me. The league is the priority. We've got to try and win it. Do you really think Van der Beek will start? By the way, I'd go through hell and high water to sniff your chair, says Nora. God. Redemption for Phil Jones. I would love him to come back and turn into Prime Vidic. Would be the greatest underdog story ever, says Joshua Bowater. Look, you know what? I think we all love Phil Jones. We absolutely do love Phil Jones. And I've been sent... even got somebody DM'd me this morning when I woke up saying that I can't believe what Ollie said about Phil Jones. And if you don't know what he said about Phil Jones, he's basically said that, we need to get him fit. He's a good citizen, and he's fell on hard times, and we want to get him back involved in the squad. Ollie said this about Alexis Sanchez a year ago about him coming back to the club, and he sold him. He said it about Lingard, and he let him go out on loan. So Ollie's very clever at promoting a player that he doesn't want anymore. Phil Jones needs to be sold. The worst way that you can sell Phil Jones is by going, well, I don't even care if he's injured or not, he's shit. He's got to build that personality up. He's got to build the confidence up of that player. He's got to talk about him publicly. I don't think Solskjaer sees Phil Jones as part of his team, but if everybody gets injured and Phil Jones is fit, he'd have to use him. Of course he would. But I don't see a future for Phil Jones at Manchester United for many reasons. But I've always liked him. He's a problem, but he's our problem. And, but he's not a Manchester United. I mean, if I'm absolutely honest, unless he comes back with a bionic knee and a bionic hip and every other injury he's got and turns into like RoboCop and he's like Robo Jones, the best manufactured centre-back in the league. He will head the ball. He will kick the ball out. He will wear pink boots and wear them with pride. But no, I don't think that's going to happen with Phil Jones. Miracles can happen, but I don't think it will happen. So I also think from Phil Jones, and look, unfortunately, well, I say unfortunately, he didn't play well in them pink boots, and I did say it was the bloody pink boots. But I think that Phil Jones, and it's nothing to do with me really, we've all seen the pictures of Phil Jones. He's been called Calamity Jones for years. I don't think Phil Jones actually has a future at Manchester United, whether he wants it or not, because one bad mistake... Because the thing is, like, in life, whether you're a burger flipper, an accountant, a dustbin man, a postman, a postwoman, a dustbin woman, let's be equal. If you've done your job badly over a period of time, you're always on your last chance, aren't you? Because when you do it wrong again, everyone automatically goes, "Oh, they've done it again. They've done it again. What's the point?" So I think Phil Jones, to have a future at Manchester United, would have to come back. He'd have to stay fit, which would be the first impossible dream. And then he'd have to play week in, week out like Prime Vidic, which I don't think he's got the ability to do. Phil Jones, to me, he's a Newcastle defender. He's not even he's not a top 10 defender. He couldn't play for anybody in the top 10 at the moment. He's not a Leicester defender, an Everton defender. He's not a Southampton defender. Because Southampton, whatever you think, he's not even a Brighton defender, to be fair, because whatever you think about Brighton, fourth from bottom, they play a brand of football under Potter. So Phil Jones, to me, is a Newcastle defender. He's that sort of a player if he can stay fit. So he's not a United defender on pure quality anyway. He's not that good. But also, if he started playing for United, I mean, imagine Phil Jones gets fit in 2029 and he comes back, I'm joking, 2023. He comes back fit, right? He plays a game at United at Old Trafford in front of hopefully 75,000 people, because hopefully that's going to happen soon. And he makes a mistake. It's going to be a natural reaction from fans to go, why is he still at the club, this, that and the other. So I don't think Ollie's talking about a future for Phil Jones. I think he's talking about getting Phil Jones fit, building his confidence up, and then letting him go somewhere in the summer. And I think that's the right path to have. But if Phil Jones can come back and be Robo Jones and the best centre-back in the world, then absolutely fine. But I don't think people need to worry about that. The main thing is that Phil gets back fit, healthy, and gets a move and starts playing football, as we've seen with, I think it's brilliant. I think one of the positive things from the January transfer window, which some people won't take as a positive because it doesn't massively benefit us because they weren't involved anyway. But I think Jesse Lingard to West Ham is absolutely fantastic for Jesse Lingard, and I think Phil Jones needs to think about Phil Jones. Go and play football. You've been given this, somewhere along the line, you've been given this talent. And you've obviously worked hard to get there, despite all the jokes. I know how hard it is to be a footballer. You've got to have massive belief and strength and perseverance. But in your mid-30s, and in fact, Phil Jones might be finished anyway. Injury record's bad, isn't it? But if you can get another couple of years out of your career, go and play. Just go and play football, because when you've retired, you'll always have that dream. I won't. Most of other people won't. So, go and play football. Ollie's favourite position for Van der Beek is the sidelines, warming up. Warm up FC, so Stanley LaRue. And have you and Phil Jones had a falling out? You're both good commentators and good blokes. Extend the olive branch and patch it up, mate. Yeah, look, I don't do things like that in public, so I won't be responding to it publicly. And yeah, it's a shame that has had to happen. For my parts, it's just total and utter misrepresentation of what I'd actually tweeted about. Effectively. Yeah, I will discuss it with that person on the private, and hopefully it can be patched up. But the point was that basically Phil had an interview with Luke Shaw, and I'm a big fan of Luke Shaw, and I'd said that he's been massively underrated, Luke Shaw, which he has, and that I think that the tweet had been phrased that Luke Shaw has bounce back, basically. And I replied and went, I don't think he's bounced back. I think he's just been underrated for a couple of years, as I've said many times on this show. And someone replied and went, oh, you're just jealous that Luke Shaw's wouldn't come on the United stand. And I said, no, I'm not jealous, because I know why people won't come on the United stand, because the club don't like us. And I don't think the club hate the United stand or the community. They just I totally understand it. If you are an outlet that is going to be honest about what you think about players and boards and decisions, then the club have got every right to say that we don't really want to give you interviews and things like that, because you're a bit too honest, whatever. And obviously Phil thought that I was talking about him saying that, but Phil's always been quite vocal about the Glazers. That wasn't my point. I was actually replying to the person saying that I was jealous that they had Luke Shaw on, which I would like that interview. Of course, anybody would, but it's not really expected when you're a United Stand fan channel that spends a lot of time being very honest about the problems on the pitch and certainly above. And look, I've had conversations with people at Manchester United, and they don't like sometimes what is said. They don't agree with it. They feel that they do back the manager. They feel that they do and are building a future. So you're going to get that, aren't you? But I think Phil's totally misconstrued what I was saying. So there we go. Are you doing an Arsenal reaction? That was 2 days ago. We need Kunde, says Drilling S. Well, it's not. The thing is, nothing's going to happen until the summer, is it? Nothing will happen until the summer. Ramos, we might get news on that. I mean, look, is he going to sign a new contract or not? I think Upamecano, Alaba and Sergio Ramos, we will get news on that over the coming weeks. But whether that's news about Manchester United, we can hope, of course. But I'm not too sure whether we will get that. Thoughts on Rashford on the right wing and Tellez left wing as a playmaker to Cavani, because Tellez is a good crosser. I mean, that's from XQZ. I wouldn't be opposed to that. I mean, look, that team I've got there has got Van der Beek on the right, because I think it will lead to creativity. The problem United have got at the moment, and we've discussed it many times, is that you've got Cavani who wants opportunities, and against Arsenal he got 2 and he should have scored them both, but they come from Luke Shaw and Wan-Bissaka. On a positive, it's great that Wan-Bissaka and Luke Shaw are getting forward and putting good crosses in for our number 9. On a negative, we've got 2 wingers. We play with wingers. Some people don't. We play with wide players in, whether it's Martial, Rashford, Greenwood. They're our wide players. All 3 of them don't whip crosses into the box. They don't do that. So we need somebody who's going to do that, which is why I would put Van der Beek on the right, because Greenwood, Rashford off the right, their first thought is get past the man, have a shot. We saw Rashford shooting from a crossing position just before he was subbed at the weekend. It's not Rashford's fault, it's not Greenwood's fault. I'm sure Ollie says to them, be more creative, but that's not what they are. So United need to get a player. I don't mind us having one player that's like that, and ideally Rashford fit and firing is the player to play off the left, I believe. And then on the right, you put a Van der Beek who can be a bit creative. Creativity needs to be on the width. Now, if we want to try Tellez as a left winger, I don't think Ollie will do it. But again, I wouldn't be opposed to it, because he's a player. What we need one player on the wing whose first thought is, my job's to create. My job is to get assists. My job is to put decent balls into the box. At the moment, we've got 2 wide players, whoever it is, whose first thought is, my job is to score a goal. I want to score a goal. Well, you can't have 3 forwards with the same mentality, because they're not going to create enough chances, because they're always going to be selfish. So, Tellez off the left wing might not be a bad idea. Whether Ollie would do it, I'm not so sure, because that would mean having to bench Rashford. Look, if the problem Ollie's got is if he puts Van der Beek on the right and he plays Rashford on the left, he's got Martial and Greenwood on the bench. If he puts Tellez on the left and plays Rashford off the right, he's got Martial and Greenwood on the bench. I don't think Ollie likes having Rashford and Martial on the bench, or Rashford and Greenwood on the bench, or Greenwood and Martial on the bench. I think out of those 3, he always wants to pick 2, and then the other one's on the bench. Well, if he's always going to pick 2, and Cavani's starting, then they're going to be the wingers, aren't they? Would you take Souček at United, says Chris Davis? He's been very good this season. He has been very good. Would you play the diamond tonight? Worked last time, or stick with the 4-2-3-1? Ewan, I think Ollie's just got to stick with what he does. I think Ollie's just got to stick with what he does. I think the 4-2-3-1 is his position. I think we've been crying out for United to play a certain way. We're now doing that. I think the more Ollie plays a 4-2-3-1, the better. If he starts changing formations again, then I just think it shows indecisiveness and a lack of clarity. And look, the main thing I want us to keep playing a 4-2-3-1 is, and Ollie touched on this in his press conference yesterday, the games are coming so thick and fast, there isn't actually time in training to do anything other than a bit of shooting practice and a bit of fitness work and drills. There's not time to be working on new formations and systems. So stick with the 4-2-3-1, and I think any club I would advise to do that, and I'm sure most of you would agree that the game this season is ridiculous. It really is an endurance test. A lot of the games this season will not come down to ability. It will come down to what 11 you can put on the pitch, and what level of fitness they've got, and what level of momentum they've got, which is why United need to win tonight and get some momentum back, because everybody's in the same boat. Everybody's playing every 2, 3, 4 days, 3 times a week. So, the easier you can make it for your players, the better. And I tell you what, not changing systems and not trying to change the system every game is probably the way to go, to be fair. Anyway, look, thanks everyone for watching. Very excited about the game today. Smash a like on the video. We will be live. I think the kickoff tonight, I imagine it's 8:15, because it's a Tuesday, isn't it? There will be other games. Yeah, 8:15 kickoff tonight. So we'll be live at 6:45 with the team news and everything like that. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right hand corner. Smash a like on the video. And also remember to play United Stand Picks. 12 questions. You can win £500 is the first prize, I think, but there's a £1,000 cash prize pot, so you'll get money for second and third as well. 12 questions. You must be over 18, because there is cash prizes being given away. Terms and conditions are in the video description, and do play responsibly. Links in the video description to enter. Free to enter. Must be over 18. 12 questions, all related to the game tonight, like will United score in the first half, second half. There'll be questions about how many assists and things like that. The person with the most points wins the prize. That's how it works. But we've got a live leaderboard in the show as well. You must enter before the game kicks off. And if you have already downloaded United Stand Picks, you can just keep playing every time we're doing it. If you haven't downloaded it, links in the video description. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care, stay safe, and I'll speak to you soon.